best of YouTube awesome.
Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to 7 Things I Love in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is just a quick spoiler warning just before we begin. I am going to be showing classes, outfits, all sorts of stuff. Basically, if you don't want any spoilers in the game, you probably shouldn't watch this video, but if you don't really care, it's not going to show like story spoilers, but you will see characters and other things like that. So this is just a quick warning. If you're not keen on that, laters. If you are keen on watching, enjoy. Basically, I'm just going to talk about 7 things that I love about this game. And in no particular order or ranking system or anything like that. It's literally just I made a list. First 7 things off the top of my head that I really enjoyed. So, going to kick into it now. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about today is the story and characters. Now, this game, I like to pride myself in being able to figure out what the story is going to be like, you know, and one of the things that I've really loved about playing the Xenoblade series, or the Chronicles series specifically, is that you kind of feel like you know what the story's going to be until you get to the end of the game, and then you're like, oh, okay, I had no idea. There's always some sort of like spacey theme or some tech theme, like it's all a simulation, or you know, like the whole world was created or built, or you know, like it's never what it actually seems. And this game is no different, except you're kind of expecting something like that because you get introduced to characters, or some characters with similar I guess you'd call them like Easter eggs to other games. So when I think about the story in this game, it started off really cool, right? You know, and it carried that all the way through. You've got Kevis versus Agnes, 2 opposing factions lost in eternal combat. Troops are created in these tubes called cradles, and then, you know, they only have a lifespan of about 10 years, and if they make it to the end of their 10 years, they get what's called a homecoming, where they go back to their leader, and the cycle continues and has been continuing for so long. And our characters are 3 characters from each faction. 3 from Kevis, you've got Noah, Lance, Uni. Meet up with Neo, not Neo. Mio, Senna, and Tyon. And through, I guess, like an act of God, or, you know, like some random as just chance encounter, they were there at the right time. You've got another character named Van Damme, who you're like, oh, sweet, another Van Damme, but he dies straight away, and then they become Ouroboros. So they kind of break away from the cycle, and their mission after that is to kind of free the world from, you know, what's been going on. And you've got these, like, immortals called Mobius, and those are your mortal enemies. And all of the Mobius that you fight have different personalities, different abilities, motives. You know, one even becomes, you know, a character that you can use. We'll talk about him at some point. But, you know, like, and the thing that I love the most is that, like, you've got side quests and hero quests, and the side quests and hero quests, they are just as fleshed out as any of the other quests that you'd look at, right? So, you know, you get voice acting in a whole bunch of them, which is really cool, because normally you only get voice acting in like main story stuff, but never anything else. So, you know, the fact that they've not only, you know, put so much effort into the actual story, but a lot of the side content as well. And I think it's just fantastic. You know, you've got the characters, and they all kind of fit like, you know, standard sort of JRPG tropes for a lot of them. But they never stick to just that trope. You know, you've got, you know, they all kind of have their own sort of motivations and character development, and the character development actually makes sense. You don't have any like incredibly good guys that all of a sudden are just like, you know what, I'm a bad guy now. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of, you know, every kind of character development at least makes some sort of sense. So you can kind of tell that they've put, you know, a lot of time and energy into fleshing out these characters and their stories, you know. And there's not a character in the main roster that I don't like. Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one who I probably liked the least, it would have to be Tyon. And it's only because he comes across as a bit of a know-it-all. But even as the game goes on, you know, like he actually, you know, you'd think he'd be that, fall into that trope where he knows better than everyone else, but you kind of, you know, when you get into his backstory a little bit, he turns out to not be like that, and then, I don't know, it's just really cool. Like, I've really enjoyed the story, I've really enjoyed the characters, played probably 150 hours at least, and I'm still not finished with everything that I can do. And, you know, there hasn't been a moment where I felt like burnout or anything like that. And, you know, that's a lot of hours to put into a game. So, yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed everything about it. If you haven't played the game or finished the game, I would encourage you to do so, but take your time. You know, this is definitely not a game you want to rush the story on, because you'll be missing out on a whole lot of content and characters. And, you know, one thing actually I will say about the hero stories is they kind of intertwine with other characters' hero stories. Normally you don't get that. So, you know, one character's hero quest might be to go and visit another one of the heroes that you've like encountered. So I'm guessing if you haven't encountered them before, you're not going to get that interaction and that progress. So do everything you can. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it the whole way through, and you know, it's a game where I probably take a break, play some other games, but one day I will definitely come back to it and play it again. I'll play all the DLC. I've just loved it. It's just been fun from you know, the first moment that I turned it on. So that's yeah, the first thing on my list. We'll carry on into the next one. Alright, so the second thing that I love about this game, and again, no particular order, is the gang is all here. Full party. You know, everyone's here. Look, when I saw the trailer and I saw the whole group running around, I said some inappropriate things that I'm not going to repeat or put on the internet, but I was very excited. One of the biggest gripes that I have in any RPG is when you've got this huge roster of characters, who do you bring with you? Do you only bring your favorites, or do you know, bring the characters that are best suited? You have to decide and manage levels and experience gain and all sorts of stuff, you know? I remember back in the day when I played Final Fantasy VII, at the end of the game, I had these, you know, high-level Cloud, high-level Red 13, high-level Sid, high-level Vincent. Like, all of the other characters were just low-level, so I couldn't really use them, you know? And I remember playing, you know, Final Fantasy 15, and I absolutely enjoyed it because there was no stress of which character do I bring. The whole group was there. They were all taking part. There was banter from all of them. I know that game wasn't the most popular Final Fantasy for different reasons, and that's probably an entire video on its own, but I just love it. And even with the other Xenoblade games, you know, same thing. You've got to pick who you want to bring. You could love all the characters. You can't bring them all with you all the time, so you've got to choose. You miss out on dialogue, you miss out on different things if you don't have all the characters with you, and it doesn't make sense because in all of the, you know, in all of the cutscenes, all your characters are there. So the fact that you not only have all 6 characters in this game all the time, but a 7th character that you get to choose out of like a roster of really cool heroes, I mean, that just makes the game for me in itself, you know? Like, I'd put up with a whole bunch of like bad features and all sorts of crap just because this feature is in the game, and like, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things about the game. Everyone's here. The gang is all here from the start all the way to the finish, and it just doesn't get better than that. There's no stress on who gets experience or who I'm bringing to what or nothing. All I have to worry about is whose class is which, and do I have enough defenders, do I have enough healers, and do I have enough attackers? That's it. That is it, and I love it. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope that more games do this moving forward, especially with big rosters. So the next thing that we're going to look at that I love about this game is the variety in classes that you've got. Obviously you've got a lot more attackers, you know, but you still have a decent amount of defenders and healers, and you know, we've got this class here that, you know, it can do everything. Really fun. And I love the fact that you know, the 6 main characters can be any of these classes and get master skills from any of these classes. You've got so much to choose from. Each class has its own, you know, sort of like niche that it covers, so you don't get a whole lot of overlap. And I feel like a lot of the classes were really well made. I don't like all of the classes, because not all of them are fun for me, but I will guarantee you there's someone out there that likes that class. And you can kind of see, I haven't really put a lot of time into like leveling classes to 20. I have with some, but yeah, for the most part, I haven't really worked through everything just yet. But yeah, and you've got all of these heroes, so they even all of the heroes come with their own, you know, unique personalities and quests and abilities and all sorts of stuff. I really love the fact that we've got so many classes that we can choose from. Yeah, it's fantastic. This is a really short point, but it's one that I'm really happy with. So yeah, on to the next. All right, next up we've got class customization. This is fantastic. The game has not been boring for me at all, because if I start feeling like I'm not enjoying playing a specific class, I just switch out to another one. You know, if I'm not happy with it, boom, I'm playing a Seraph. I've got a frigging gangster spear. You know, you've got all of this. So you've got your main classes, arts that you can choose from. Not only that, you get master arts that you can pick from other classes that you have unlocked and mastered. So the customization is endless. It's actually endless. Well, I mean, it does have an end, right? You know, I'm not going to exaggerate too much, but I can make anything I want. I could put heals on my abilities if I want. Granted, wouldn't do much. My healing power's not that high, but I could do it. You know, you can put all sorts of stuff. You can put statuses, you can put other things on it, and you don't even have to customize these as like fusion arts. You don't have to combine them. You can actually just use them as 6 individual skills, you know. So it's just amazing. You get skills from other classes as well, so there's just so much customization. However you want to build your class is however you're able to build your class, and there's lots of good options, you know. Yep, there's going to be some standout things for certain classes, but at the same time, you're not pigeonholed into using a specific thing. Same with the gems. Look at how many gems you've got to choose from. 20. That's a lot of variation. And, you know, some of them are geared more towards each thing, as you can kind of see with each of the little icons. But you don't have to do it that way. You don't have to do it that way at all. And I think that's what's fantastic. Just, you know, hundreds and hundreds of so many accessories, and they all do different things. Obviously you get, like, you know, the different levels, right? So some, you know, you've got the ones that like medium effect, major effect, and it just carries on like that. But there's just so many like variations, all sorts of stuff, extending ranged attacks. Like, just the customization is endless. You've got all of the clothing that you can use from all of the different classes that you've mastered as well, so you can make your character look, or all of your characters look however cool you want them, or however ridiculous you want them. Like, just a sidebar, I'm gonna talk about this in a different video, but bro, where's his pants? All right, I'm not talking about it now, but I want to. So there's another video coming that will touch on that. But yeah, just the customization is fantastic. Even with, you know, customizing your interlink, your Ouroboros, you've got Soul Tree, you can pick how you level it up. Even then, you've got things that you can take from your partners, so you can boost it up even more. And I can't think of a different game off the top of my head that has this much customization as far as the class you pick, being able to customize this many abilities, all of the different skills, the gems, just everything. Like, I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. Sometimes it can get a bit... sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming on what to pick, but at the same time, it's not that difficult, right? So, like, just this, for example, you've got different things, different abilities on the main ones, but, you know, if you need a topple, you can put a topple on. If you want to use a stance, you can use a stance. But it gives you a lot of information about the ability itself, whether or not the area effect is one target, frontward AoEs, how powerful it is. So it gives you enough information to be able to, you know, pick. And you'll be able to test them out really easily. Like, it's not, yeah, it's just fantastic. I absolutely love it. I wish more games did it. I'm really happy that this game did it. And yeah, we'll we'll carry on with the next one. The next thing we're going to look at is that hard mode is actually hard. Now, I'm 7 levels higher than this beast. Not fought him before. Just going to do a quick fight. I'm probably going to cut through a lot of it until we get something that we like. I might be at a point where it's a little bit too easy for me, but up until this point, trying to fight things on my level or a few levels lower than me was actually just crazy. I mean, you just saw that I used one ability and my class, like a bunch of my characters almost got rolled in one hit. I'm not really using my abilities properly here, but we will now. I was mainly focusing on talking, but you can kind of see, like, I've been fighting, not doing terrible damage, but also, you know, the health bar is huge. It'll be very easy for a monster like this to kill us. This might have been a bad example. I know there's other monsters that I could kind of pick out there, but I just wanted to kind of see, like, you know, putting out some big numbers and it's still doing some pretty serious damage to me. So, yeah, look, one shot almost killed me. I'm going to die from burning, I think. Yep. So, very easily, all my damage just died from one ability because he did some explosion. And look at how much health he's lost. Barely 10%. So, the healers are now going to run around trying to revive everybody. And again, I'd play better in this. Just for recording sake, I just wanted to show you just how tough some of these bosses can actually be. Boom, there you go. You've got the launch. Yep. But in saying that, it does get a little bit easier once you jump into your interlink. Just start blocking everything. Yep. But even, like, look at, you know, I'm doing crits on almost every hit and I'm barely getting his health down. So, you know, I absolutely love just how hard the game actually is. Because if I'm not careful, look, I'm potentially going to die again from that fire move that he used. Yeah, I just love how challenging the game actually is on hard mode. But not too challenging to the point where you're just going to get one shot by everything regardless of what you do. You can change around gems. You can change around your you know, skills, arts, all sorts of classes, how many tanks you've got, how many healers you've got, all makes a difference. And it's all gonna, you know, there's definitely a lot of strategy that can go into beating a boss. And, you know, I absolutely love the fact that it's like this. So, yeah, hard mode is actually hard. And you can see, you know, if he used an ability right now, potentially all of my characters might die. So, well, some of them. But we're not even halfway through his health bar. Not even halfway through that health bar there. Cool. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so we're still in the same fight for the next point, and it's kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that hard mode is fun and that I really enjoy combat. I think it's fantastic. Like the fact that you get all of these abilities, you've got chain abilities. I can use all of these different like arts individually, or I can combo them together to make them, you know, even more powerful. You've got bosses who enrage after you get them to a certain health point, and that's cool. You've got different things that you can do like this, which, oh, I've got a bunch of characters that are about to die. Oh, I can pop a chain attack if I need to, just to get them some health back. And then you can go into chain. I actually really enjoy chaining as well. It's just one of those things that I had, you know, in other games they get a bit repetitive, you use the same thing, but for some reason I think it's just the way that they have it designed, and that was the wrong ability to use, but you know, the way that they've got it designed and the randomness of it, and you know, everything that kind of goes into it, I just find it really fun. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. Combat is just incredibly fun. You get to put out big numbers. It's a useful way to get experience. It's always different, you know, and if I don't feel like playing the same character or the same role or the same class or whatever, I can just switch. I can just switch to another class, albeit, or you know, or another character, albeit sometimes it can be a bit stressful to actually get the right character. And I know I'm not optimizing my my chain attack properly, but just for the purposes of kind of getting out of this, I just wanted to kind of get it in there properly. Boom. Soul Hacker. I just have random abilities on her, on my Soul Hacker, just to kind of get them some levels and whatnot. So, you know, there's just so much to it. So much can go wrong in a chain attack as well. It's just one of the aspects, and the fact that, you know, you can use your Ouroboros links in the chain attacks makes it even more interesting as well. I just really enjoy the game. And combat is really fun. Super fun. There's just so much depth involved to it. Not every boss is the same. You know, sometimes you do get the odd reskin, but a lot of them do have unique abilities and unique ways that they fight. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's, you know, there's always going to be little things that you can add, and that, you know, that definitely isn't an accurate representation of the damage that I can currently do right now, but I'm mainly focusing on talking. But look at that, an enraged explosion, and it literally, oh, both my healers are dead, and that's a wipe. Do you see? And that's fun. Like, normally I would get mad in a game where I just got wiped like that instantly, but yeah, I'm not. I just, for some reason, there's just something about the way that the combat works in this game and the way that the class customization works that makes me want to turn around and just go, what could I have done better? How could I have approached this differently? What changes could I make? Can I switch out my 7th character to a healer and survive a little bit longer? Or, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, the way that they've designed it is just so awesome. And you know what? There are moments where I get mad, of course, but I just really enjoy it. The combat is so fun that I just don't get bored. And they have, I think, this setting that I kind of briefly showed you in a different game, which is, oh wow, I didn't know that you could do it in a setting. That's cool. Anyway, it's the auto battle. You know, like, I've never been tempted to turn this on, because even in the small, like fighting the trash mobs, it's just fun, and I feel like I'm constantly learning and getting better. And like, this isn't a competitive game, right? So like, I'm not trying to min-max everything. As long as I'm having fun, then, you know, I feel like I'm winning. And the final thing that I'm going to talk about today, and trust me, there are so many more things I'd like to talk about, but I don't want to make like a 2-hour long video, is exploration. Yep. Look at this map. Look at all the areas that you can go to, right? And you might think, well, that's not that many areas. But like, if you look at this area, the Faunus region, look at how big this is. It takes a long time to get from one end of this one map to the other, right? And I'm not going to time it because I can't be bothered, but like, I know it might look small, but it ain't. It's quite huge. And you can tell that they put a lot of detail into all of these maps as well, just with little things that are kind of like speckled around. It could be you know, broken machines or just the different environments. There's just so much to look at, so many places to go. Monsters always in the distance. You can just run around. You've got multiple ways that you can go, different ways to get there. You've got different environmental things that you can take part in, like, you know, like you can see that rope up there that you can slide down. All sorts. It's just, yeah. So I showed you that map before. Look at how far I actually ran. Just from there, right? And that was no, you know, that wasn't that quick as far as like how quick to get, you'd think, that far in a map that big. Right? Yeah, you've just got so much, and then you've got different levels. You know, so you've got this map here, but then there's this whole other map underneath it. Whole other map. And I haven't even explored everywhere because some of these places are actually too high level for me, which is fantastic. The fact that there's still higher levels, and I know I'm not max level yet, that's fine. You know, still more for me to enjoy, but there's just so many places to go, so much to explore, so many chests to find. It's just great. I just love it. This, I get, yeah. I'm just, there's lots to go. Oh, let me show you. Actually, this does my head in. Look at that. Look at that. That looks like a terrible paint drawing. So you get a boat that you can travel the seas. So this is like an ocean map. I'll show you. I'll show you. Because I'm good like that. Let me just give you a quick... It would take me so long to map out this entire area in my little boat. I'm never going to do that. Never going to do that because I just don't want to. It's so huge. So you get your cool little boat. Again, you were warned at the start about spoilers, so if you didn't want to know, you got a boat. Right? Let's roll. Oh, fantastic thing about the boat. Picks up all of these items and you can't get attacked by monsters while you're on the boat, which is great. The turning leaves something to be desired. It's actually sometimes easier, and I've done this a few times, to just reverse with the boat, and sometimes it's actually easier to navigate reversing with the boat. Yep, I'm reversing. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know you could autopilot. Look at that. Wait, what? Move to cabin. I've never even done this before. Oh, true. That's cool. I just learnt something new. All right, pro tip. Read the instructions in the bottom right. I just never looked at it. I swear to God. Probably because I've always had the objective on. And no, I haven't quite completed the main story yet, so... but that's fine. I'm almost there. I'm just in no rush. Wow, I didn't even know you could do that. But look at how huge this sea level is. Monsters everywhere. Elites, uniques, all sorts. There's all different kinds of levels. You think, oh yeah, we've been floating around for a while. Look at what we did. This is where we went. We came up here, did a bit of a loop up there. That barely took out any of the map. So there's still so much to go on. It's crazy. Oh, got a new quest I can go to over there. Wicked. But yeah, exploration. There's a lot to do, a lot of places to go, a lot of things to see, and the maps are beautifully made for a Switch game as well. I just think how great this would look if it was on like a PlayStation 5, or you know, you could crank up the settings on like a PC. How mint this game would look. Oh, one day. All right, thank you so much for watching my video and the 7 of the things that I love in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's actually quite hard only picking a few things because there's just so many great things about this game that I love. But I only wanted to do a couple for a sort of shorter video. So if you've stuck with me the whole way, I really appreciate your time. If there's things that you disagree with that I love that you don't, please let me know in the comments. But otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, guys.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.